She sat motionless in the courtroom, her hands folded in her lap, her back straight, her expression calm, almost detached. To an outside observer, she looked simply exhausted, as if this were just another hearing, another routine day wrapped in legal formalities. No one would have guessed that the person sitting there was connected to a body that had never been found. No one would have imagined that the heavy silence filling the courtroom had once been broken by screams, by a struggle, by sheer, desperate fear. The prosecution would later describe it as cold, calculated intent. The defense would frame it as influence, dependency, and an attempt to escape a system that felt inescapable. But the facts do not change. A mother was killed, her body disappeared, and the line between victim and executioner blurred until it all but vanished.
Did you read the same text I did? There's the son took the woman's car with the girlfriend. Okay, the girlfriend down there reported to her caseworker that they killed some lady and burned her house.
After this alarming signal, police and U.S. Marshals were immediately dispatched to a home in a quiet, gated community in Sylvania Township, Ohio. Could a single text message from a runaway girl truly be the key to uncovering a real murder and an act of arson? What exactly happened at that crime scene? Before we reconstruct the full timeline of events, we want to express our deepest condolences to the family and loved ones of Nicole Jones. She was a mother who took in her adult son during a difficult moment, never suspecting what tragedy would arrive with him. On May 8th, 2 United States citizens, a man and a minor girl, were spotted attempting to sell jewelry directly on the streets of the city. Mexican authorities quickly detained them to ensure that the man was not a human trafficker holding the girl against her will. At that moment, officers had no idea that the people they had taken into custody for their own protection were actually connected to a horrifying crime committed thousands of miles away. As officers ran identity checks, a search of the vehicle they were traveling in revealed a small amount of marijuana. Jonathan told officers that the drugs belonged to him and said he believed that possessing such a small quantity in Mexico was not illegal. Police informed him that this belief was incorrect, after which he was arrested and taken to a local jail. Just hours later, those same officers received an alert from Canton, Ohio, stating that Kaitlyn Coones had been reported missing as a minor. By that time, the pair had already crossed into Texas and were heading toward El Paso. Border agents contacted an Ohio detective and reported that they had seen not only Kaitlyn, but Jonathan as well. They were traveling in a 2021 Buick Encore registered in the name of his mother, Nicole Jones. Meanwhile, Kaitlyn's social worker had already alerted police, providing them with the contents of a text message from the girl that contained a shocking confession. In that message, Kaitlyn claimed she was involved in 2 murders and an act of arson. The detective was unable to reach Nicole by phone, so he contacted police in her hometown to request a welfare check. Given the outstanding warrant for Jonathan, members of the U.S. Marshals Service Fugitive Task Force were also dispatched to the scene.
Dispatch non-emergency.
Yeah, this is Detective Sedaris from the Canton Police Department.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I am investigating a possible kidnapping involving a Jonathan Jones. They were stopped in Arizona by the Border Patrol in a Nicole Jones vehicle. That's Jonathan's mom. Now, the 17-year-old girl that is with Jonathan, who has a nationwide pickup, texted and said that they murdered Jonathan's mother, somebody else, and set a house on fire.
And we're just checking a safety, or we want to find out about the vehicle, or?
Well, I know the vehicle's in Arizona because the Border Patrol stopped 4 hours ago. But I just want to, make sure Nicole's all right.
And Nicole's last name again is?
Jones.
So her vehicle's in Arizona with her son, or no?
Yeah, no. Her son, Jonathan, was with a 17-year-old official missing, Kaitlyn Coones.
When Sylvania police officers and U.S. Marshals arrived at the home, they found the door locked and no one responding to their knocks. A package lay on the doorstep. having been delivered several days earlier, and the mailbox was overflowing. Nicole still could not be reached at any of the known phone numbers provided by the community's property manager.
This information is third hand, but we know her car is, and because we know the Border Patrol stopped that car down by Sarasota.
It's now in Mexico?
We don't know. They're trying to find it right now. They got an airplane up and they're trying to locate it and all that kind of stuff.
Okay, so it was.
But this is pretty concerning with the package out there and what they're saying.
Well, when you call the fire department to 4th Century,
Has
they
she
haven't
ever seen her?
She said she's odd.
Where's her mail? Where's her mailbox?
So
Okay,
Where's the mailbox?
What about the garage? Is the garage door open?
no, garage doors aren't.
Do you know what the code is?
No, we don't have keys or codes or any of that.
Let's pause for a moment and take a closer look at the people who became entangled in this dark story. Kaitlyn Coones was a 17-year-old girl who had been running away from home since the age of 12. Born in Akron, Ohio, she cycled through numerous social programs and group homes across the state, staying for a few months at a time before disappearing again. Her background was marked by repeated encounters with law enforcement and struggles with eating disorders that at times required hospitalization. It was from one such medical facility that she ran away yet again, and in August 2022, she met Jonathan Jones through a dating app. Jonathan was 32 years old at the time, an Army veteran who had served for a year in Kandahar, Afghanistan. In 2011, he was discharged from the military with a partial disability. According to his own account, he had been struck in the head by a piece of armor during equipment maintenance, leaving him with ongoing memory problems and constant ringing in his ears. After returning from the war, his life began to unravel. He divorced his wife, had 2 children from a later relationship with a girlfriend, and struggled to hold down steady employment. Eventually, he moved back into his mother's home, Nicole Jones's house in Sylvania Township. Twice divorced, she had spent most of her working life as a phlebotomist at a local hospital. Years spent in abusive relationships had taken a toll on her health, leaving her unable to continue working and largely confined to her home. She was deeply devoted to her son and, by all appearances, tried hard to protect the quiet, insular life they shared. The conflict arose when Jonathan and Kaitlyn became romantically involved. Nicole was firmly opposed to the relationship because of the 16-year age difference. Tensions escalated when the pair were arrested in Wood County, and Jonathan spent 5 months in jail, awaiting trial on charges related to contributing to the delinquency of a minor. After being released on bond, he returned to his mother's house, wearing an electronic ankle monitor and under a court order prohibiting any contact with Kaitlyn. Despite this, Kaitlyn soon appeared at the house, and Jonathan secretly hid her there without his mother's knowledge. She lived inside the home, sleeping in the bathroom, while Nicole remained unaware of her presence until events spiraled into catastrophe. Now, back to the police officers and U.S. Marshals inside Nicole Jones's home. After forcing entry, they encountered a scene that looked nothing like a crime scene. The house showed the kind of everyday clutter typical of ordinary life, but there were no signs of a struggle or violence. There was no body, and no indication of an attempted fire either inside or outside the home. Yet Nicole herself was nowhere to be found. All of the items she relied on daily, including essential prescription medications, were still in place. Had she planned to leave for any extended period, she would almost certainly have taken them with her. There were also no signs of Jonathan's recent presence. A table piled high with empty drink cans and cigarette packs looked as though it had not been touched in quite some time.
Police department! Right, you have a quarter of a coin. Yeah. Myers in Douglas, Arizona. Yeah, that one, yeah.
I wonder if they could have did this arson somewhere else.
How about the garage? Did you guys check the garage?
Yes.
Anything in there?
You would have heard it.
Shake plate. No, I meant, is there any vehicles in
No.
there?
So this right here was brought in. Yeah, of course.
Why don't you, Dave, check that mailbox and see what is in there.
Okay.
What kind of mail.
All right.
As the detective from Lake said that this guy was supposed to move in to take care of her. This other detective from White House or from Lake said that he ran into John and Kaitlyn in January in their jurisdiction. So, and he said she's the brains of the operation.
The officers and U.S. Marshals were forced to wait for the forensic team to arrive. They understood that the absence of obvious evidence did not mean the absence of answers. As they stood inside the house, they discussed what was known so far about the people involved in the case. After some time, one of the marshals returned with new details that would further shape their understanding of what they were dealing with.
Says, I just killed 2 people and I did 2 arsons. I'm in deep trouble, and they don't know I'm away from Ohio and about and that was kind of the end of it. But that's
There's the money?
That's
is that
what-
her holding the money?
I don't know. I'm guessing this is her phone because clearly it says, right, Kaitlyn, whatever. But so Canton PD detectives are working that side of it.
Jesus. All right, that's why we're going to get a detective down here.
Hey, mom's probably in the trunk.
And what?
I said, that dude's mom's probably in the trunk.
Oh, who knows? I mean, I don't know what income, maybe she, they milked her for that, or who knows?
But I'm saying if they don't have the car, I wonder if they could see if they could put a locator to stop it at the border if they're trying to cross the
We've already done that, and they got airplanes up right now.
Oh, awesome.
So, I don't know, man. I think this is definitely the situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's, not going to look good.
No, I don't think so either.
Now let's shift far to the south. Mexican authorities transferred Kaitlyn into the custody of the El Paso Police Department. They also reported that a search of the seized vehicle had uncovered Nicole Jones's wallet, her social security card, credit cards, state identification, and insurance paperwork, along with a camouflage backpack stained with dark, reddish marks. Kaitlyn was taken to the El Paso Border Patrol office for questioning. FBI Special Agents Colette Bonley and Hannah Maza entered the interview room. They knew something terrible had happened, but they needed details about what had occurred in Ohio and about the journey toward the Mexican border. They understood that Kaitlyn held those answers, and in order to get her talking, they first focused on building trust and establishing a rapport.
So we're here because we just want to talk to you, figure out what happened, how you made it down there, if you were treated okay, because obviously...
I don't really want to talk about it. I already talked to the police about it.
In Mexico?
Yes.
Okay.
They have a translator.
So what Colette's trying to say, like, our concern is that
I know nothing bad happened. I was just down here for a week or so, and then when I went to go use the bathroom, that's when the Mexican police pulled me aside and was like, "You're gonna have to come with us. You don't have a traveling visa."
Okay.
That's what happened. And besides that, nothing else happened. Like, I've been to a couple Mexican restaurants. I've slept at a couple motels here and there. Like, that's it.
Okay.
There's nothing, deep, I went on a killing spree. No, it's not what happened.
Okay.
And I came to Mexico because I was looking for a new beginning.
The agents kept their tone gentle, continuing to build that sense of trust. They talked with her about her feelings for Jonathan, asked whether he mattered to her, and listened as she shared a story about how he had cared for a stray cat they had taken in before his arrest in October.
Who were you traveling with?
The person, he ended up having to go to jail because they found marijuana in the car, even though Border Patrol let us go with it or whatever.
That was Jonathan, right?
Yeah, Jonathan Jones.
Okay.
And I was with him, and they took him, and then they said Mexico, apparently you can't be alone in Mexico if you're a child. And I was like, well, I'm about to be 18, and I'm literally in Ohio, USA. When I was 13, that's when I was allowed to go off on my own. So,
okay, so Jonathan, and I think you mentioned before that's your boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How did you meet him?
I met him before the car accident, and I met him at a store, and that was whenever I broke out of the Emily's program, which was an abusive eating disorder program. And whenever I was at the store, I gave him my number and I left, and then like a few days after that, after living out on the streets, I turned myself in, and I stayed in contact with him ever since, and he's just been a caring person, so I ended up dating him because I'm about to be 18.
Okay.
But we haven't done anything sexual because I already know the rules of that.
Just sounds like he was a friend, right?
Boyfriend.
But he treated you very well. That's what I mean. Like, he treated you very well.
Yeah, he made sure I ate, made sure the cat was eating. Whenever we did get the cat, he always checked up on his mom. He's just very caring.
Okay. So, do you by any chance know kind of like what a dangerous area you were in?
No, I did see like the military and the police drive by and stuff, but like they were driving around so frequently, like I didn't think anything was gonna happen, and like I know how to defend myself because like I grew up in the hood of Ohio, so like I know how to fight for myself. And I've been in fights with girls my age. That's the reason why I don't become friends with people my age, because it's just I don't understand them.
Right. So I get it, and I have no doubt that you can defend yourself.
Then the agents carefully shift the conversation toward Nicole, gently testing the waters as they probe what Kaitlyn knows.
Does Nikki know that Jonathan's in jail in Mexico?
I don't know. I haven't talked to him since he got taken away, so I don't know if he called her or if the police called or what happened with that. I do not know.
She knows everyone.
Yeah, like I said, we offered her to come with us.
Right. When was the last time then that you talked to her?
Well, there's some lost because of Mexico. So then mine was the only one working, but then mine kept glitching out. So we didn't really have working because of Mexico.
Probably because you were hooked up to the Mexican network. So probably back in Mexico when you wanted to talk to her. When did you want to talk to Nikki before?
I think it was right when we went to Arizona, when we talked to her. But I don't know when that was. I just know it was right before we got to Mexico. We talked to her as we were making our way out to, Mexico or whatever, but then she was talking about, she's busy, she doesn't want to talk, going on walks. Like I said, she's a busy person. I'm not going to keep an old woman. I'm not going to get yelled at by somebody. So we just kept traveling and stuff, and we were like, maybe she just is doing her own thing, not bother her.
Got it.
So that's how that went.
Okay. When did you guys leave in Ohio?
I do not know that either.
You don't know?
It was
a guesstimate?
I don't know an estimate either. I just know that we entered Mexico a week ago and that we went through some states along the way.
Okay.
I don't remember the states. I know one of them was Arizona. I know that we were in Texas at some point, and I know that we went to Mexico. That's all I know. I can't give you the exact dates because my brain doesn't let me process that because I have a brain injury.
The investigators tell Kaitlyn that her former boyfriend raised the alarm after receiving messages from her describing horrific acts she claimed to have committed.
I understand your shame. You're not a victim, okay? I understand that you want to be an adult, and that's fine. I'm going to talk to you as an adult. I'm going to talk to you face-to-face right now about the issue that we have with this, okay? So it says you killed 2 people.
Okay, but you understand he has access to be able to hack it. Let me finish.
Okay. Says you killed 2 people. We can't find Nikki. We don't know where she's at.
I didn't know she was missing.
And you guys have her car. And you guys had all of her credit cards.
I know that she went missing.
Damn.
So who killed her?
We don't know.
No, but I want to know who killed her because she was a nice mom.
We know she hasn't been seen for a while. And it says we killed 2 people. We don't know if she's dead.
Okay, but you're putting that on me when I thought that she was doing perfectly fine and everything. And I told you I didn't send those messages. He's been able to hack my account.
What we're trying to figure out is what happened and where she could be.
I don't know.
And if Jonathan is somehow associated with her going missing or worse than that, her being dead,
he wouldn't do that. He cared about her. He made sure that me and her ate. Like, he made meals for us and was trying to get his mom to eat and stuff. Like, she wouldn't eat just because, like, her dentures would always, you know, be in her mouth, and she didn't, like, she felt uncomfortable eating like that or people. But, you know, he kept telling her, you know, it's okay to eat like that. Like, you know, my girlfriend's okay with you. Like, she hasn't eaten it herself. Like, Mom, come play cards with us. Mom, come do this. Like, you know, we want you to be a part of this. How old is Mom? I don't know that.
Seeing Kaitlyn's confidence begin to crumble, the agents introduced new pressure points. As Kaitlyn and Jonathan wove their way toward Mexico, they left behind a clear and traceable trail.
So, Jonathan took a gun to a pawn shop here in El Paso and told the people that his mom was dead. He did. So, Kaitlyn, we want to help you.
I didn't know he did that. I didn't know there was a gun. I didn't know his mom said. Like, I don't know what you guys want me to say. It is what the truth. We want to help. That's all. We just want to help you. So if she's dead, did you guys find the body? No, I'm being serious. I don't know what happened. That's the reason why I'm asking. Did you guys find her body?
He just told me that his little official to be waiting to open her doors to you. And I think she deserves to be remembered properly, right?
I didn't know she was dead, so I don't really want that. I didn't know she was dead. Like, literally, when we left the house and everything, she was fine. Like, she was literally laying in bed on her phone. This is what
you strangled her. How did you do that? Okay, where was she when that happened?
She was trying to get something out of the fridge, and I flipped her over and started doing it. And then I took the rock that I had, got right on the floor, and I started throwing it at her head.
Is that what the scratches are on your arm?
I don't know what these are.
No. Remember, like, if you lift up your sleeves, the other ones, are they from her?
No.
No?
Oh, these are self-harm marks.
Okay. Yeah.
Did she fight at all?
Yeah.
What? Did she fight at all? She was very in shock, so she didn't fight. Like, the only thing I remember is the, like, hackling with blood still up in her mouth, like.
Was that after she was hit with the rock? Did that happen?
Yeah, and then there was, like, blood clots that started coming out of her.
Out of where?
I think it came out of her mouth. They were, like, really big.
Okay. How long would you say that you strangled her for before you hit her with the rock?
I did it for 5 minutes, hit her with the rock, and then I kept strangling her. And then after that, after strangling her for like a good, like at least 10 minutes, I started banging really hard with the rock again.
Okay. So after the first 5 minutes of strangling her, do you think that she had passed away at that point, or?
I think it's whenever I stopped strangling her and put down the rock that she finally laid it out.
Okay. Did it happen in the morning or the night?
It happened in the morning, and then the body was disposed of that night.
Okay.
She wouldn't let us be together. Like, nobody would let us be together, and it's kind of sad because it's like, it's obviously, it's obviously, like, I want this, like, I want him, like, I don't care if he's old, I don't care if by the time I turn 18 he's about to be an old-ass man, I don't. I love him. There's nobody like him, is what I was trying to explain to him. And then I even told him, like, you know, this is the reason why I killed your mom, because she's being very inappropriate with you, and she wouldn't let us be together. If only she would have let us be together, I don't think I would have ever become a murderer in my life.
It is possible that Kaitlyn realized her tangled explanations had led her into a dead end. The agents begin to apply more pressure, but they are careful to preserve the level of trust they established at the start. In the end, they get what they were after. Kaitlyn effectively admits that both she and Jonathan were involved in the death of Nicole Jones. At that point, the body had not yet been found, and investigators did not even have direct proof that a murder had occurred. But Kaitlyn goes further, revealing additional details. She will later be formally charged and extradited to Ohio. Jonathan Jones, after spending a couple of days in a cramped Mexican jail cell, is also transferred to United States authorities in El Paso. He has no idea that Kaitlyn has already told the FBI everything. All he knows is that he is being held because of an outstanding warrant. After his rights are read to him and his hesitant attempts to ask for a lawyer, Agent Bondley and Task Force Officer Michael Volpe sit down with him at the table. They let him talk, occasionally joke with him, and share bits of their own life experience to put him at ease. Only an audio recording of this interrogation is available.
Just because I'm trying to learn about you, like, how do you and Kaitlyn know each other?
We met through a dating website.
You were on what website?
Mingle 2.
Mingle
2.
Like number 2 or spelled out 2?
No, number 2.
Okay.
I was getting ready to delete it after having zero luck with all the dating websites and like trying to find somebody to date. She sent me a message, so I was like, all right, cool, I'll entertain the idea of the message and see what this is. Probably going to be a scam. I say, oh, spend some time with me, it's going to call, how it always is on dating websites.
Right.
And then we started talking and we hit it off.
And how long had you guys been chatting on Mingle 2 before you guys?
I'm trying to think, this was last year.
Oh, okay.
Probably about a month and a half.
Before you guys physically saw each other?
Yes.
Do you remember, like, when last year you met her?
It was the beginning of October.
Was when you saw each other the first time?
Yes, like actual face-to-face.
Okay. And then, so like end of September, you found each other on Mingle 2?
Yes.
Okay. And then how many times have you guys seen each other since, I guess, October?
Well, we were together for like 2.5 weeks. I got arrested. Well, we both got picked up in Wood County for walking to a gas station at 5 o'clock in the morning to get something to drink and some cat food for a stray cat. Never again am I going to try to adopt a stray cat.
After listening to his account of jail and of how Kaitlyn came to him immediately after his release, the agents then hear his version of events, his claim that his mother had most likely gone on a binge. Jonathan insists that Nicole had recently developed problems with alcohol and drugs. The agents, already knowing the truth from Kaitlyn, allow him to pour out this false narrative. He goes on to describe what he calls a pathological jealousy between his mother and his girlfriend, a tension that, according to him, grew more intense with each passing day.
I told her that I wanted to get back, be like back together with Kaitlyn, like where we could see each other, date, and whatever, and she just was not happy about that at all. She was like, no, as long as you're living under my roof, not happening, blah, blah, blah.
After 2 weeks on the run, weeks that included the killing of his mother, a journey across the entire country, and nights spent in a Mexican jail, Jonathan finally begins to break when information surfaces about items traced to a Texas pawn shop.
My gut's telling me to get a lawyer.
You're right, but based off the things that I've heard Kaitlyn say about you, I don't see that in you, especially when it comes to your mother. I can't imagine you would have treated your mother that way. Again, I'd love to talk to you about it, because Kaitlyn said a lot of hateful things about you and what may have transpired. So if that's something you want to do, I would love to do it.
I do know that both Mom and Kaitlyn have said about each other that if one or the other interfered with something, that they would go to the extreme about. Like my mom saying, "Oh, let her be crazy. She tries something, I'll shoot her." Blah 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 blah. And I know Kaitlyn has said on numerous occasions, like the first time we were together, and when we started talking the second time, saying, "If your mom tries to stop us from being together, then I will take action in my own hand." Not knowing exactly what she meant by that or anything kind of a vague statement. But
The agents appeal to what remains of his emotions, invoking the image of a son who has lost his mother, the woman who cared for him his entire life. Jonathan realizes the game is over. He asks for a lawyer. The agents agree and leave the room. Only a few seconds pass with the man alone with his conscience before he knocks on the door and decides to confess.
I decided that I'd rather talk to you guys instead of wait for a lawyer about the mom thing.
So I'm gonna let you kind of know the topic of discussion, so I'm gonna let you say what you want to say, and then if we have questions, we'll ask questions.
I was trying to cover for Kaitlyn by telling you I didn't know about my mom.
Okay.
We ended up going back to my mom's in my house after midnight when mom was asleep, so they didn't have to deal with each other, and my mom didn't know Kaitlyn was going to be up here. Oh, sorry, in Ohio.
I got it now.
So we go back to the house. Kaitlyn and I hang out in my room. We cuddled and fell asleep. Wake up the next morning. I go out to have a cigarette, come back in, go back into my room, hang out with Kaitlyn for a minute, go out to the kitchen or dining room area, hang out with my mom, smoke a joint with her. She's like, oh, I'm about to go to the dispensary, blah, 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 blah. Do you want anything? It's like, oh, the only thing I want is a cart if you can get it. And, and she's like, all right, well, I'll get ready to go. I'm like, okay. Well, I went back into my room, grabbed my cigarettes, and I was going to go out for another cigarette. Well, when I come back in, firstly, when I'm outside, I hear something. I don't know exactly what it was, but definitely sounded like a voice struggling.
The voice struggling?
Yeah, like somebody getting hit or something. It just, through the door and everything, it just sounded like, you can't really tell exactly what they were saying or anything. So I grabbed and finished my cigarette and went in. When I went in, I'm not going to forget this scene because there was a lot of blood. Kaitlyn went and I guess, I don't know when, if my mom was getting ready to walk off the door or what, she was in the kitchen and there was just blood everywhere. I don't know if Kaitlyn stabbed her or hit her over the head with something. And I immediately went into shock and just so much blood. I don't know exactly what else she did. I confronted her about it, and she's like, I had to do it so we could be together. Well,
and where are you guys at when this conversation's happening?
Just outside of the kitchen. She has blood on her. I stepped in some because of how it got everywhere, so I had a little bit on my socks. Just from the splatter getting everywhere. I don't know, like I said, if she stabbed her, cut her, or what, but there was blood all over the kitchen. At this point, I sit down at the kitchen table and I'm looking at her and I'm like, what did you do? And she straight up told me she stopped her from being in the way of us being together. From there, we went.
And while you're in the house, do you see your mother?
Yeah, there is a body in the kitchen.
Okay. And then do you see where she's bleeding from or anything?
I couldn't tell because there's everywhere there was blood.
Okay.
Everywhere. Everything was coated. It was on the fridge. It was on the stove. It was near the sink. Didn't get into the sink. Go figure. The one easy place to clean, it didn't go.
Jonathan describes how they drove to a store to buy cleaning supplies and tarps, then stopped by McDonald's. They cleaned the house, and Nicole's body was thrown into a trash dumpster at an old apartment complex where Jonathan had once lived. After that, they went on the run. At the end of the interrogation, he is asked about the shooting that Kaitlyn had mentioned.
Yeah, it was maybe firearm related that happened.
Yes. Kaitlyn wanted to shoot somebody.
Okay.
I tried talking her out of it. She said that if I couldn't accept that she wanted to do that, then she didn't want to be together. And me at this point not having anybody else in the world, only having her, was like, all right, let's go for a drive. I purposely went down neighborhoods and stuff that people would not have been out at that time.
Your time?
It was 5 or 6 in the morning, so like right before and like right at the start of the morning rush.
Okay. Daylight or still dark out?
The sun was coming up.
Okay.
Then I remember driving down a road that there was a bus stop thing.
Like a little
building thing. Yeah. Not like a building, but like a little overhang for sure.
Like awning.
Yeah.
Typical bus stop type stuff,
and then I hear a bang. And I booked it straight to the expressway. And I don't think she hit anybody.
What did she say after?
Well, she complained about her ears ringing, which happens when you don't wear ear protection in a closed environment. You should do that. And then, as we were getting on the expressway, which wasn't even a couple minutes later, she's like, I can't believe I just shot somebody. I'm like, well, did you actually hit them? She's like, I don't know, I think so.
These confessions were sufficient for the agents. Soon after, the trial of Kaitlyn and Jonathan began. The prosecutor was the first to speak.
Proceeded to trial with respect to count 1 on CR 232276 and CR 241092. The state of Ohio would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that Jonathan Jones and Kaitlyn Coones on or about April 19th, 2023 in Lucas County, Ohio, did purposely and with prior calculation and design cause the death of another, specifically Nicole Jones. With respect to count 8 in CR 232776 and count 3 in 24-1092, the state of Ohio would have proven beyond a reasonable doubt that defendants Jonathan Jones and Kaitlyn Coones on or about April 19th, 2023 in Lucas County, Ohio, did knowingly and without legal authorization treat a human corpse in a way that would outrage community sensibilities. Specifically, Judge, the state of Ohio would have shown that on April 19th, 2023, Jonathan Jones and Kaitlyn Coones worked together to plan, carry out, and cover up the murder of Nicole Jones, the biological mother of Jonathan Jones. That these events occurred at 7456 Timbers Edge Boulevard, located here in Lucas County, Ohio. The evidence would have shown that the defendant, Jonathan Jones, had been involved in an illegal sexual relationship with co-defendant Kaitlyn Coones, starting when she was 16 years old. Mr. Jones was convicted in Wood County, Ohio, for charges relating to that relationship and for possessing images of a sexual nature involving Kaitlyn Coones. While Mr. Jones was awaiting sentencing for those charges in Wood County, he was released on an electronic monitoring unit and was ordered to have no contact with Kaitlyn Coones. The evidence shows that while the defendant was awaiting sentencing, Kaitlyn Coones and Jonathan Jones nonetheless made plans for Ms. Coones to come to Toledo. She had fled a group home she had been residing in Akron, Ohio, and made her way to the defendant's home on Timbers Edge that he shared with his mother, Nicole Jones. Once there, the two planned to kill Nicole Jones because she was getting in the way of their relationship, and to some extent because the two desired to become an infamous couple. On April 19th, 2023, they waited until Nicole Jones was inside the kitchen of the home and had her back to them. They then beat her over the head with a rock and strangled her to death together. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation processed the home at Timbers Edge and found many droplets of blood consistent with a large bloodletting event in that kitchen. BCI determined that Nicole Jones was the primary contributor of DNA of that blood. Following the murder, the two went to several different home supply stores and bought cleaning supplies. The state would have shown the video surveillance depicting the two of them purchasing tarps, bleach, a mop, and garbage bags. In their recorded interviews, both defendants detailed wrapping the body of Nicole Jones in tarps and placing her into the trunk of her own vehicle. The two of them headed to dinner with the body of Nicole Jones still in the trunk of the vehicle. Afterward, they drove her body to a dumpster at a nearby apartment complex where Jonathan Jones previously lived and dumped her body into a dumpster. The two stole many of Nicole Jones's belongings, including a firearm, her jewelry, her checkbook and ID, and together they removed all the money from her bank account. The electronic monitoring unit that Mr. Jones was wearing at the time of the murder would have showed his movements throughout Toledo during this period of time, corroborating the facts as stated above. Afterward, the defendant cut off his monitor and fled with Kaitlyn Coones in his mother's vehicle. They proceeded out west through Arizona, where Kaitlyn Coones is alleged to have committed additional crimes. Eventually, the two made their way to the country of Mexico. While on the run, the defendant Kaitlyn Coones was posting on Facebook about having murdered people and texted several others telling them what she had done. One of these individuals that saw her post contacted the Akron police where Kaitlyn Coones was to be residing. Akron police then notified the Sylvania Township Police Department of what had been reported, and in response, the Sylvania Township Police Department responded to the victim's home to check her safety. She was obviously not there, and during the execution of a subsequent search warrant, officers discovered the blood and missing items. Warrants were then issued for the arrests of Jonathan Jones and Kaitlyn Coones. Meanwhile, while the defendants were in Mexico, they were stopped and arrested because Mr. Jones was in possession of marijuana and Kaitlyn Coones was determined to be a minor traveling without a legal custodian. Eventually, they made their way back here, Judge, to face these charges. The defendant, Jonathan Jones, was interviewed by several agents and gave a lengthy statement. He claimed that on April 19th, 2023, while they were in the Timbers Ridge home, that Kaitlyn Coones gave him 5 hours to kill his mother, and then when that time elapsed, she did it on her own while he stepped out for a cigarette. However, his statement contained several inconsistencies and the improbable self-serving statement that Kaitlyn Coones, acted alone in the killing. For instance, Jonathan Jones further admitted in this interview that after they murdered Nicole Jones, he was covered in blood and that the two of them showered together. He then indicated that while the two of them had fled, he wasn't thrilled with the situation, but that he was happy that he and Kaitlyn could now be together, and noted that his mother always interfered with their relationships. The defendant, Kaitlyn Coones, in her first interview, did claim to have killed the victim all on her own as well, a claim the state would have proven was false and done in part during as part of a plan the two of them had contrived together, whereby Mr. Jones was asking Kaitlyn to take full responsibility for the murder to receive a lesser sentence since she was a juvenile, in the hopes that he would then also receive a lesser sentence. However, in her second interview, almost a year later, the defendant, Kaitlyn Coones, provided a different statement. This time, she placed nearly all blame for the murder on the defendant, Jonathan Jones. In this statement, she depicted Jonathan Jones as coming in through his bedroom window with a large rock. He then demonstrated for her how he would strike his mother over the head and stated, "I'm going to do it now." She further claimed that she heard Nicole Jones scream out and gurgle blood, and that she waited for it to be over. That when she came out of the bedroom, she saw Jonathan Jones with his hands around the victim's neck, asking for her help, to which she complied, of the belief that finishing Nicole Jones's life or ending it would bring them closer together as a couple. She further stated while she did give Jonathan Jones a timeline within which he must kill his mother, she never thought he would carry it out. Both defendants gave statements at one point where they each removed themselves from the crimes at the increment of time of critical importance, which would be the ending of Nicole Jones's life, and that they did this for a reason, because they committed out these acts together. The evidence also would have included jail calls and jail letters between the defendants, wherein they are professing their love for one another, and one in which Jonathan Jones repeatedly directs Kaitlyn Coones to continue admitting to the murder so that the state would not think that he was the mastermind behind this crime, possibly giving him a lesser sentence. While the body of Nicole Jones was not recovered in this case, the state would have shown the death of Nicole Jones through circumstantial evidence, including no cell phone activity, money transactions, communications, or sightings after April 19th, 2023, in addition to the fact that both defendants did in fact admit that she was murdered and that her body was disposed of in a dumpster. To the extent that the defense would have attempted to argue that Kaitlyn Coones was afraid of Jonathan Jones, we would have shown that she continues to seek him out, profess her love to him, and that while fleeing never attempted to notify authorities, call for help. Further, we would have shown a video taken from Ms. Coones's phone that depicts her smiling and laughing in the stolen vehicle while Jonathan is driving, following their flight after the murder. And the video pans down to her purse where it shows, she is in possession of a firearm. We would have argued and proved that she was not in any fear and that she had the means, specifically a firearm, to disengage herself from the defendant. The evidence would have been clear, Your Honor, and proven beyond a reasonable doubt that both defendants acted in concert to plan, murder, and dispose the body of Nicole Jones. They committed these offenses together every step of the way. Based on that statement of facts, we are asking the court to find both defendants guilty of aggravated murder and abuse of a corpse. Thank you.
Here is how the defense responded to the charges against Kaitlyn and Jonathan.
My name is Robert Jones, and I'm here today to speak on behalf of our beloved sister and daughter, Nicole Jones. No words can fully capture the depth of our grief, the extent of our pain, or the magnitude of our loss. Nicole Jones was a beacon of light in our lives. She was a devoted mother, a cherished daughter, and a loving sister. Her kindness, her laughter, and her unwavering support reflect the foundations upon which our family stood. Her murder has shattered our world, leaving a void that can never be filled. The agony of losing Nikki is compounded by the unimaginable betrayal we feel, knowing that her own son and his girlfriend committed this heinous act. The trust we once placed in Jonathan Jones has been irrevocably broken. And the sorrow we feel is intensified by the confusion and disbelief that someone so close to her could be capable of such brutality. Nikki was always there for Jonathan without question. The fact that he failed her in this moment is incomprehensible to our family. The physical absence of Nikki is a constant, searing wound. The fact that her body was never recovered adds a layer of torment that words cannot describe. We are denied the closure that comes with laying a loved one to rest, and we are haunted by unanswered questions and horrific imaginings of her final moments. This perpetual state of limbo exacerbates our suffering and hinders our ability to heal. The emotional toll on our family has been devastating. We struggle daily with feelings of tremendous pain, anger, and profound sorrow. Each milestone, holiday, and family gathering is a stark reminder of her absence. The laughter that once filled our family gatherings has been replaced by silence and tears. The comfort of her presence is now a cherished memory that we cling to in our darkest hours. This horrible tragedy has also weakened our faith and belief in our local community. Nothing was done to attempt to recover our family member, and decisions were made without consulting us or even reaching out to us to express any sorrow or remorse for the decisions that were made. At the time our family needed the basic services of the community the most, the system was unable to perform its most basic duties. The inaction of some has cast a cloud over our sense of safety and belonging. The place we grew up and raised our families doesn't feel like home. Despite this, we will forever work to honor Nikki. Our family's future is now overshadowed by this tragedy. We find ourselves grappling with a profound sense of loss and a relentless ache in our hearts. These defendants' actions have irrevocably altered the course of our lives, robbing us of the joy and presence that Nikki brought to us. We stand before you today seeking justice for Nicole Jones. We implore you to consider the immense pain and suffering inflicted upon our family and to hold the defendants accountable for their actions. While no sentence can bring her back or erase our anguish, we hope that it will provide some measure of justice and deterrence, preventing other families from enduring the nightmare that we now live. Your Honor, we ask that you remember Nicole Jones not as a victim, but as a vibrant, loving individual whose life was tragically cut short. We ask that you honor her memory by delivering a sentence that reflects the seriousness of the crime and the depth of our loss. Thank you for allowing us to share our story and for considering our plea for justice. Thank you, Your Honor.
Both Kaitlyn and Jonathan ultimately pleaded guilty to the murder of Nicole Jones and were sentenced to life in prison.
All right, so have you had the opportunity to meet with your attorney? Have you been able to review the discovery, any potential defenses, gone over all the reports and everything that's been turned over in discovery, and discuss this with your attorney? And are you satisfied with your attorney's advice, counsel, and competence? Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
A no contest plea is a legal plea that indicates that you will accept the facts as they are alleged in these two separate charges for each of you. The state's attorney will make factual statements about each of those charges. Once I hear those statements, in all likelihood, I will accept them and then enter findings of guilty. You understand that, Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Coones?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. The penalties have already been explained as part of the plea agreement, but from the court, I can tell you each of you are charged with aggravated murder in count 1 under 2903.01A and G, which is an unclassified felony. The sentence for that charge that the court must enter is a term of life imprisonment. The rest of the sentence is after serving a full blank amount of years, you would become eligible for parole. In this particular case, that would be a range of 20, 25, 30 for Ms. Coones, and then the additional without parole for Mr. Jones. However, the parties have agreed that the appropriate sentence in this case would be life imprisonment with parole eligibility after serving a full 25 years. Do you understand that, Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Coones?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, count 2, which can be run consecutive, is the charge of abuse. I'm sorry, count 3 in Ms. Coones' case, count 8 in Mr. Jones' case. But the second count that you're pleading to is called abuse of a corpse, 2927.01B and C. That is a felony of the 5th degree. The court could order these to be served consecutive, which would likely result in ODRC having you serve the 1-year maximum sentence for the abuse of corpse first, thereafter followed by the life imprisonment sentence, and then the appropriate eligibility for parole. Do you understand that, Mr. Jones?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Coones?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Also, as a result of these offenses, you will not be able to use, receive, buy, own, transport, or possess a firearm or ammunition.
Nicole Jones's body has never been found to this day. Justice was served, but this brutal and senseless crime left a permanent mark on a small community near Toledo. Kaitlyn's cynical remarks about the killing during her interrogation stand as a chilling reminder of how little another human life can mean to some people. If you found this case important, don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts about this story in the comments, and subscribe to the channel, and we would be glad to have you as part of our community. Turn on notifications so you don't miss new, shocking investigations. Until next time, take care of yourselves and stay alert. You never know what might be lurking in the shadows.